Look, and this is no secret, I think, to anyone who knows what's going on, who follows your work or my work. It's just more, what they're doing is they're fist feeding us crap and dog shit. And, look, I think if we understand what's happening, I think we do, we're going to stay on the right side of this. We just got to ride this out. I don't see anything major here. It's not an epiphany that we're having issues in the yield curve. I'm not surprised. I don't think you are or anybody else. This is just a reflection of what is going on despite the propaganda. Period. The end. I pretty much am ignoring it. I'm focusing more on the 10-year yield, and right now I don't see any red flags anywhere. I think the market is going to continue to get propped up by more debt, and I think oceans of it are coming, much more than we've ever had before. So that's my take on what's happening with regard to the yield curve. I've been telling my people, just don't worry about it at this point. I don't see anything.
So do you think that debt, that ocean of debt that you're referring to, that's going to come through more government spending? Are you talking about the sovereign balance sheet or the corporate balance sheet or the consumer balance sheet, or what do you think?
Well, I think from right at its core, it's central banks who are going to continue to fuel it. They have to. You know the mechanism here. It's very, very simple. They must continue to inflate. They've been doing this since forever. They're not going to stop. It's the mechanism to continue the debt-based economic model from functioning here. People are obviously, consumer debt, household debt taking off like we've never seen before. Inflation is skyrocketing. It's a very, very bad situation for people. Unfortunately, people are being, pressured from every possible direction and then some. And in my view, I don't see an end in sight here. I don't see it because I don't see the mechanism changing at its core. It's going to continue the way it goes. It's going now. I just, until we hit that climax here, the grand finale is, to me, and I would imagine yourself, is the debt market. The debt market is going to implode. I don't know when. I don't even care when. I really don't. I'm just, taking advantage of things as I see opportunity come along here. I think the fact that this is being prolonged, like every other crisis is, gives people who have a few functioning brain cells the opportunity to get themselves on the right side of it before we get the implosion in the debt market, which is going to wreck the stock market. And then we're just going to see cash move from one set of assets into another. And we're already seeing it to a certain degree. We're seeing commodities take off, although we have had a big pullback recently. But I think that's just a temporary, that's the way the market works. No asset class, no asset goes straight up without a little drop or a big drop, and you get a new floor and then we go higher. Because the debt is going to continue to inflate. That's the core. In my view, I look at things this way. I look at the debt market as the driver of everything. Now, because the debt market is the largest part of the market by exponents, everything derives value from it. So we have a debt market hyper bubble, which is out of control. It's going to get much, much larger, faster, I think, than we've ever seen before. We're going to get other assets continue to inflate, and certain things are going to deflate. For example, we're seeing the absolute value of the dollar crater. It's going to continue to crater, unfortunately. And I think it's by design. It's a mechanism. I think we all expected this to happen, although I do expect the relative strength of the dollar to stay high. And it has. It will. For the foreseeable future, unless some other massive force acts against it. And that would be, obviously some kind of a world war maybe, or something along those lines.
So do you think that mechanism that you're talking about with the Fed, just keep doing what they're doing, is that really because they're, they're so-called tapering down to zero? They've done that. Do you think that they're just going to keep doing what they're doing in the form of keeping real interest rates negative?
All I can tell you is the mechanism in place here is deliberate. It's designed to do this, and people are getting crushed. And I do consider the fact that it will continue in this manner. These incremental raises in the federal funds rate, it's a joke. It's a joke. Yeah. When you look at all the things that you had just pointed out. As a matter of fact, just this morning, what did we get? We found out that wages are rising at 0.4% last month, and we have the inflation, surging high. People are getting robbed blind. And this mechanism of grand theft on an unimaginable scale is going to continue and continue. And in my view, it's going to get worse. Look, central banks, in my view, again, and I would be hard pressed to believe that you don't believe this, are going to continue to inflate. Their mission is to inflate. And it's not even, look, that's the mechanism. They must do it. in order to continue to this system functioning. We have to continue to pull debt from the future in greater and greater amounts. It can't be static. It must exponentially increase. And they're going to do things to us and throw things at us, crisis after crisis, expansions of wars and whatever else, to make sure that mechanism stays in place. Right. It's not going to stop. And I want people who follow your work and mine to understand that. So that gives people an enormous amount of power and strength, just realizing the mechanism and how it's in place here, ignoring the propaganda ministry, the mainstream channel, because it's all bullshit. And their job is to mislead people, distract them, deflect them from the truth, and feed them garbage. So thankfully, there are shows like yours out here that are allowing people to get a real handle on what's going on. Because look, to me, this is about, it's so much bigger than what we see. I want people to embrace the fact that we are all responsible for each other, that we need to come together and realize what they're doing to us and weaponize the system against them, because they're trying to kill us. I mean, in a literal sense. So if we could flip the tables around here by looking at the situation and say, okay, what do I need to do? Well, that's, I think, what you and me are trying to do. We're trying to get people on the right side and keep them there.
Before we continue, help us clicking that YouTube like button and subscribe now to our channel. This shows the algorithm that you valued this information. And it helps us spread that message. Sharing is caring. And now, let's continue.
I have bad news for you. If you're not rich by now, you're screwed. And if you're in debt, you're even double screwed. How so, you might wonder? Well, the sad truth is that you're working your whole life to make someone else rich. The mega corporations, the banks, the politicians, everyone is getting richer. They get your money. And what is even worse, they get your time, they get your life. You are not even in a rat race, you're in a financial prison. But what could a solution for you look like? Honestly, I don't know, but I know what a solution for me would look like. It's very simple. I use whatever money I have and I multiply it with 1,000. This could make my life much easier and probably yours as well. If you have $1,000 available and multiply this with 1,000, I believe that this could solve some financial issue for the one or the other. Of course, if you're ugly, you would have to multiply it with much more than 1,000. My name is Marco Stan, and this is what I decided to do. I decided to 1000x my money. This is not a joke. I know what you may be thinking. What is this guy talking about? How should this work? This is not possible. Well, I made a detailed video where I laid out my plan. And some clever folks might even want to look at this plan and copy it and do exactly what I do. This is just a little hint on the side. You have two options. You leave, you forget what you have seen. You do whatever you're doing and you hope that somehow you get some other results. Good luck with that. Or you click the link below the video. You enter your email address, because I'm not showing this to everybody. You at least watch my video on how I plan to 1000x my money. The choice is yours. Make the right choice. Join me. See what a different future you could have. See at least how I intend, how I plan to do the 1000x. So click on the link below, enter your email address, and I see you on the other side. Your Marco Stan.